Yes.
Yes, you can see.
Yes.
You can see on screen.
Fantastic. Fabulous. So without further ado, I'm starting today's session. Warm welcome to everyone. This is a big day. Today we're announcing 2022 years. Can I also ask everyone to mute their computers when you're not speaking? That helps with the sound for everyone. Thank you. I'm expecting us to stay on the call for 40 to 50 minutes. I will be moderating today's session. My name is Cecilia Dahlström. I'm the Secretary General at PAR Foundation. And I'm going to start by talking a little about the grant call this year, but then I also have the luxury to be able to present this year's grantees, and they will join me and talk briefly about the projects they will run with help of the funding from PAR Foundation. So if I start by presenting PAR for all of you who are not familiar with us, our vision is to help eradicate spread of antibiotic resistance. This is a very big task. It's a big ambition to facilitate, but we want to do this by using our strength in the most impactful way possible. And we believe that is working with teams that are researching and educating health professionals around prevention of antibiotic resistance. And if we do that together with key opinion leaders like yourselves, we believe that we support the general sector, but we also get the messages out to the next generation of researchers and the general public who will be part of and driving the prevention of antibiotic resistance. I'm going to jump straight into the research grant call, and then I'm going to talk about the educational grant call. We had two openings this year. First, we had one call zooming in on research, and there we looked for projects that will prevent or manage bacterial infection and antibiotic resistance with new methods. The money that we have dedicated to this grant call is up to 1 million Swedish crowns. That is roughly 90,000 euros. The projects run from 1 to 3 years. And this year we had a record number of applications. We had 171 applications coming in from 37 countries. Out of these applications, we had interviews with 42 candidates. And out of these projects, we had second screenings and reviews with support of our scientific science board, and found 17 projects that we presented to PAR's board. These 17 projects have now been reduced to 2 projects that will get funding this year. And I'm happy to let you know that both these grantees are with me here today. If I shortly just talk about what we looked for, we were looking for projects that either advance insights on how to prevent antibiotic resistance. We looked for multinational collaborations or projects that help future researchers to drive their work forward. We were also looking for either bold or innovative approaches that found new methods to fight back antibiotic resistance. And we were also looking for projects that worked across disciplines and looked at behavioral sciences approaches as well. So that was criteria that we looked for. And we also wanted to find projects that could make large impact, or projects that we saw had a big impact and could be scaled if the results were hoping to be productive after the research is done. We were also trying to find areas that has been neglected, that had problems to find funding elsewhere. But then we also want to make sure that the knowledge that is already there is used when research has been advancing, then use what is already there and build on that. So who are the two candidates then? Well, I'm happy to let you know that we found one candidate in Sweden, which is Pontus Nordenfelt, and one candidate in the Netherlands, which is Adela Melkrova. So a big congratulations to the two of you. Both of you will be getting research funding for the projects that you're about to present. I'd like to start with Pontus, actually. Pontus, you're based in Lund, southern parts of Sweden.
Yes, that's correct.
And I'm going to hand over to you and just give us a brief presentation of the project that you are now about to launch with this funding.
Okay, thank you so much. So yeah, do you have, if you switch, thank you. Yeah, so this project is about a new approach to handle antibiotic resistance, and the title is New Effective Antibodies Against Pseudomonas aeruginosa. And then you might ask, why should we do this? So Pseudomonas is a leading cause of nosocomial infections at hospitals, and it's a particularly large problem with cystic fibrosis patients. These patients get mucus dysregulation of their lungs and create an environment that these bacteria seem to thrive in. And they also appear to always get these very high antibiotic resistance problems, and they're essentially untreatable, and also a huge problem to these patients. And so new treatment options are an urgent need. So what we have done before in our group is we have built technology where we can generate human antibodies from patients that are directed against pathogens. And it's based on this principle, if you look down in the technology corner of the slide, that we start out with a pathogen that has infected a patient. And then these patients, once they recover from the infection, they're termed convalescent patients. This is 4 to 6 weeks after or so. The patients will respond by making new antibodies against these bugs. So we purify the B cells, which are the antibody-producing cells in the body, and take out single B cells and purify the genes that encode IgG, which is the most common type of antibody. That way we can then produce exactly that type of antibody in the lab, and then use different sophisticated methods to characterize these antibodies to understand how they're interacting with the pathogen, which ones are working, how are they working, and so forth. That way we have shown against group A streptococci and against SARS-CoV-2 that we can generate really effective antibodies really fast. So what we want to do in this project, if you look on the right-hand side and the project overview, is that we're going to do the same principle, but now with Pseudomonas. So we have already set up a collaboration with the clinic, so we have access to these cystic fibrosis patients. And these are continuously exposed to Pseudomonas. So they will have antibodies being generated, but likely not in the right amount or in the right place. But still, their B cells will be active. So we will take those cells, make an antibody, find the ones that are good, and then we have also expertise in what's called antibody engineering. So once we have a good candidate, we can make it better by expressing it into different subclasses of antibodies and making other different modifications. So in the end, getting effective antibodies that can, in theory, then treat Pseudomonas. And it's known before that if you inhale antibodies, it's possible to at least give some effect against these. But one problem is that there are no clearly good antibodies available. So that's what we want to take forward. And then in combination with antibiotics, give antibodies as well. That's the dream scenarios, which I hope that we will succeed in. So that was a brief presentation. Thank you so much for the support.
Well, thank you. We're really exciting to be able to support the work that you do, and looking forward to follow the progress, of course. Thank you for that introduction.
Thank you.
Then our second research grantee is Adela Melkrova, and you're based in the Netherlands, right?
Hello, exactly.
So a big congratulations to you too. And take it away, talk about your project to us. Let us know how your project is going to change antibiotic resistance.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adela Melkrova, and it's my great pleasure to talk today about my research, in which I focus on the question, how do we treat the untreatable? Here on the photography or microscopy image is a Staphylococcus aureus, and we have here also its schematic depiction. And Staphylococcus aureus is resistant to many antibiotics nowadays. So if we try to treat it, we actually end up with inactive antibiotic just sitting on the surface of the bacteria and doing no harm to it. In the few years which just passed, I focused on researching, I focused on researching the outer layers of bacteria, especially its membrane. And we discovered that in the membrane of bacteria, we have small compartments called domains. And these domains have many important functions in bacteria to survive. And one of those functions is actually to do the resistance to methicillin, penicillin, and related drugs. And we discovered that there are some specific molecules, specific drugs that actually tamper with these membrane domains. So the bacteria can no longer use it for the resistance. So if we treat the bacteria now with the drug that would tamper with the membrane domains, I think that we will get a bacteria that we can now treat again with originally inactive antibiotic, and we will have treatable bacteria again. So this is the core idea, core hypothesis of my project that I want to prove, and I want to get more knowledge about using nanoscopic methods. Nanoscopic means that I will work with nanometer-sized materials, and the first one are nanodiamonds. Nanodiamonds are real diamonds that are nanometer sized, and I put them inside living bacteria. And these nanometer sized diamonds, they shine light back, and they shine their fluorescent light depending on the stress levels inside the bacteria. So by this, we can actually monitor how the bacteria responds with their stress levels upon the treatment with the combination of this domains targeting antibiotic together with this originally inactive antibiotic. So we can really monitor the stress levels and if we get the desired boost in antimicrobial activity. The second method is atomic force microscopy, which uses nanometer-sized tip. And this tip acts like a little finger that just scans and touches over the surface of bacteria or of these membranes. And we can then see how the antibiotic actually attaches to the membrane and to the surface of bacteria, and so see it on this molecular or nanoscopic level. So with these nanoscopic methods, I hope to get more understanding about the process and how we can actually use this domain targeting drugs to reverse antimicrobial resistance.
Thank you so much. I think this is also a very interesting new method to approach resistant bacteria. So we're very excited about how this work is going to progress. So a big congratulations to you as well.
Thank you very much.
And those are the two projects out of the 171 applying that will get funding this year. So very tough competition. I'm very happy to support your projects, but I'm also thankful that so many people applied and that there are so many of you out there fighting to make a change. So I hope that we'll continue the conversations over the year with many more of you. And there is another call next year as well. So there might be your chance next year. But that's for the research grant call. Let's move on to the educational grant call then. What we wanted to do this year was to fund the next generation of researchers or organizations who wanted to drive educational initiatives to increase understanding of what antibiotic resistance is and how to fight the spread of AMR and antibiotic resistance. These projects are shorter. They're up to 12 months long. The funding is 300 or up to 300,000 Swedish crowns, which is equal to 27,000 euros, more or less. Here we had 104 applications coming in this year, 34 countries. A third almost were interviewed, as you can see, and 20 of those projects were screened by support from the Scientific Science Board that we have installed. And we had 16 finalists coming from 11 countries. And here, 6 projects have been selected for funding. Criteria here are slightly different. We again zoom in on individuals and organizations in an early stage who are about to launch their careers. We might support the living costs and make sure that people with internships could work with their passion and what they wanted to bring out to the world. We've focused on training programs. We focused on courses or projects that are creating ambassador programs to educate more individuals. There's train the trainer programs, or you will soon see examples of that. And we also zoomed in a lot on the awareness. So bringing more insights and information to a broader group of ambassadors that we hope will bring antibiotic resistance to the agenda. Here, like I said, we had 6 grantees, and you see them on the screen now. A big congratulations to the 6 of you. 4 different countries. We have Pedro up early in the morning now in Ecuador, and we have Vedika in Malaysia in the evening. And then we have 4 grantees in Africa, and it so happened that you are from 2 countries only. We actually hid the countries from the board when we made the selection, so the projects were not influenced by location, but this is where the money ended up this year. I'd like to start with a similar presentation. I'll start with Kenneth. Kenneth, you're in Nigeria. And I'd like you to tell us a bit about your project. So take it away.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Sam. Okay, hello everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenneth Egwu, and I'm from Nigeria. So our project is intervarsity training and AMR club establishments for youth champions. So AMR, as we all know, is a very big global health challenge that's disproportionately affecting people in sub-Saharan Africa. Also, our national action plan, the Nigerian National Action Plan, identified inadequate antimicrobial usage among 45% of adults and in 71.1% of children. And also, there exists a poor curriculum for health students in Nigeria. So all these problems informed our decision of training students, health students, and other ones who are not health students. We want to train them to understand the scope of antimicrobial resistance, and subsequently establish AMR clubs for them, which is going to be, which we are hoping to be a lifelong AMR club. So our project is one that involves many numerous activities, because we are hoping to use one stone to kill as many birds as we can. So the first part of our project involves intervarsity training on antimicrobial resistance. So we want to teach students to understand the antimicrobial resistance, so that we can lower the rates of antimicrobial resistance that's spreading across Nigeria. We also want to teach them to be aware of the dangers of antimicrobial resistance, and with that, we hope to build and create AMR champions that will continue the chain of creating awareness in the society. So after that, we are going to provide mentors for them, people that have been doing a great job in mitigating antimicrobial resistance. And subsequently, we are going to establish AMR clubs across different universities in Nigeria. So we checked, and there was no club dedicated to dedicated specifically to antimicrobial resistance. So we want to establish a club where subsequently people can learn about antimicrobial resistance, where they can have like a formal gatherings and to talk about antimicrobial resistance, and continue the project even after and continue on with community engagement even after the project. So the next part of our project will be on community engagement. So we outlined 4 places where they will be carrying on activities to engage the community about antimicrobials, how to use antimicrobials safely in order to avoid the rapid spread of antimicrobial resistance. So the first place will be hospital. You know, hospital is somewhere where one can easily get an infection, so referred to as nosocomial infection. So we want them to go to hospitals, educate people, especially people in the wards, educate them about infection prevention and control measures, so that they can prevent contracting infections, and more especially contracting resistant infections in the hospital. So they will also go to schools to teach them about antimicrobial resistance. We know schools are mostly where you find youths, agile youths who are very passionate about their work. So we want them to go to schools and also teach them about antimicrobial resistance in order to raise champions and change their behavior and perception towards antimicrobials. So the participants will also engage the communities across different religious institutions in Nigeria to educate them about antimicrobials, and also they will also go to the markets to talk about antimicrobial resistance. So in all this, we hope to localize the language we use in spreading awareness about antimicrobial resistance. So as they carry on the community engagement activities, they will be making infographics which will be translated to the various languages that are obtainable in their parts, in their localities. So these infographics will also help us to spread more awareness in the languages that's indigenous of those particular regions are able to understand. So so this is just a brief overview of our project, and thank you, Power Foundation, for this great opportunity.
Thank you, Kenneth. And exciting to see how this is going to work, and hopefully it's going to be a good example of and an inspiration to other fellow colleagues in other countries to set up similar clubs. We hope so.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's present grantee number 2, Vedika. A big congratulations to you too. And thanks for joining this late. I'll hand over to you to talk a bit about the project that you have presented and that you're about to launch.
Thanks. All right, hello everybody. A very good day to all of you. My name is Vedika from Universiti Malaya, Malaysia. First and foremost, I would like to thank the PR Foundation for giving me this opportunity. Receiving this grant is not only a recognition of my abilities and dedication to research, but it also validates the importance and potential impact of developing preventative actions against AMR. Here in Malaysia, AMR is a growing concern as the rates of MDRO show particularly high rates of resistance. In response to this, the Malaysian government has developed a multi-sectorial action plan. However, there are still gaps of knowledge and understanding among budding scientists in Malaysia. I'm currently working with the My-ERIC AMR research group in Malaysia to assess the level of awareness in the country. Based on our findings, research, and observation, there are still a lot of misunderstandings on antibiotic and drug resistance that need to be bridged. Moreover, there are no new initiatives to mentor the next generation of scientists here in Malaysia. That being said, the purpose of my project will be to understand the gaps and challenges in order to tackle AMR, to provide a multidisciplinary platform for young scientists to share their interests and opinions on combating AMR, to create an AMR training bundle to spread the knowledge on AMR, and finally to create a continuous engagement and impact through the Ambassador Program. With the support of my research group, I have developed a project titled Increasing the Knowledge and Awareness of AMR Through Education. Firstly, we'll have a focus group discussion, which will involve students, teachers from training colleges, and experts from multiple disciplines in order to understand what is their level of knowledge on AMR and their perspective on the issue. Through this, we can assess the gaps of knowledge that exist, and these findings can then be used to create an educational toolkit. After the focus group discussion, we'll have an AMR symposium where participants will be able to collaborate and gain knowledge on the issue. Throughout this course, an AMR podcast will also be going on for a span of 6 months. The podcast would involve speakers from different backgrounds, such as medicine, veterinary science, environment, social science, and so on, to share their perspective. With this, we also hope to engage the general public on the issue to learn more. And we'll also be having a workshop for the young scientists using the educational toolkit that we've developed to impart knowledge to them. So this toolkit would comprise of the overview of AMR, individual roles in combating AMR, as well as infection prevention. The gaps identified during the focus group discussion will be taken into account for the educational toolkit. And at the end of the workshop, student ambassadors will be selected to continue creating awareness and programs of AMR. With this, I truly believe that engaging future scientists and young minds is a great way to curb the threat of AMR. Young scientists from multiple disciplines who are knowledgeable on AMR can play a crucial role in developing new solutions and technologies to combat the issue. Moreover, they can use their knowledge to educate others about the importance as well. That is all for me. Thank you once again for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Very exciting to see both the development of the program, but then looking at the spread of this and see how many people you managed to engage. But it's a very interesting project, we believe. And I also love the fact that you're using so many technologies, and reaching out through podcasts, for example, will help to spread this. And if I'm remembering correctly, they're going to be done in English, right? Also.
Yes. Yeah,
which is also good. So they can be.
And it's not just for locals. Internationally, people can tune in as well.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Let's jump to the other end of the world then and present grantee number 3, which is Pedro Juan. Big congratulations to you too. And lovely bird singing I hear from Ecuador. Fantastic. Tell us a bit about your project.
Hello everywhere. I think you can hear me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a real privilege to be able to share with you the activities that we at JTI Latin America hope to carry out in this period of time, with the objective of preventing and reducing the impact of AMR in Latin America. In fact, we hope to start with the young population of Ecuador. So you must remember that, because we understand the problem of antibiotic resistance as a public health challenge that requires multi-sectoral and intergenerational responses and responsibilities. And that's the reason, because some of our activities are or will be focused on the prevention and promotion of AMR, while others will seek different strategies to address it. In fact, we hope to interview experts to rescue and highlight the value of the microbial work as a part of concept of the human health. Hold meetings and exchange knowledge under the concept of One Health. Provide workshops in school and college, promote and support the necessary public policy, as well as lead novel research projects, because there's a kind of mixture in our plan, because we have this kind of prevention and research in the same way. And we want to, as young university students in the health field, we know that in the near future, we will have to face the consequence of having taken so long to make concrete decisions, to interview in the life cycle of antibiotics, and learn to coexist with our more skilled ancestors in survival the bacteria. There are most of the organizations we work together, like REACT Latin America, University of Cuenca, my university, Asociación Cuenca, Power Foundation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cecilia, because it's a new opportunity for us to share what we have and the information we could get here in Ecuador, because we have like this kind of problem. There's no information, to be honest, about most of the things related to AMR. And then we want to empower most of the people, and we want to look for new opportunities. And that's the way we have these 7 activities for this time to work with. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Exciting to have a project in Latin America. It's the first we fund in Latin America, actually. So very exciting. Looking forward to see the progress in this project too. Thank you, Pedro. Let's move on to our grantee number 4 then. Oluwafemi. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. And congratulations, big congratulations. Your project is zooming in on a slightly different target audience. So please tell us a bit about your project.
Thank you. The title of this project is Antimicrobial Resistance.
And now
and
I actually want
indigenous
to.
causative factors.
Is it possible to hear you?
Stakeholders in stewardship.
No.
Despite the availability of National Action Plan on antibiotic use and multi-drug resistance in Nigeria, there continues to be an irrational use of antibiotics, which leads to an increasing in MDR in food and companion animals. And so, this project is aimed at using multidisciplinary approach of One Health to assess, educate, and enlighten food animal producers and other stakeholders in Nigeria on antibiotic use and animal. The location is Nigeria in southwest and north central zones of the country. This project has 4 major targets. The first target is assessing knowledge, attitude, and practices of livestock stakeholders on antibiotic use and AMR. The data that will be generated from this study will be used to design a tailor-made sensitization tool, which will be used in target number 2. Target number 2 is titled Hybridization Sensitization Workshop, which involve pre-sensitization assessment, antibiotics use and AMR talks, antibiotic stewardship advocate generation, and post-sensitization assessment. For the target number 3, 3 months after the workshop, each of the participants will be assessed on the field to know whether there is a compliance with all that has been learned during the sensitization workshop. And the target number 4 involves creation of AMR educative online platform, whereby all over the world, anyone can access videos, images, links to various virtual programs on antibiotic stewardship. By the end of this project, it is expected that this project will have created and generated responsible stakeholders and advocates on antibiotic use and antibiotic stewardship. The project is going to take 14 months to achieve, and this is funded by PAR Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And since you're here, yes, please. Is there something you'd like to add to the project?
Yeah, maybe I should just quickly add, despite the availability of the National Action Plan on antibiotic use in Nigeria, when they were trying to probably draft this plan, it seems the grassroots people, the people concerned, they were not engaged. And this has resulted in a fall short in the achievement of the program. And so what we are all trying to do now is to engage the grassroots people to know why there is still sustained antimicrobial resistance and irrational use. And by so doing, they will get to have a better understanding of what the National Action Plan is all about. And then we can later on monitor them after the workshop. And there are other things that we can actually achieve. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love the fact that you're engaging directly with the veterinarians and the farmers to make this information available. So big congratulations and good luck with the work. We're looking forward to follow that too. And don't you just love when technology works as well? I surprised myself.
Yeah.
So let's jump to the next one. Grantee number 5 then for the educational grant called Michael. Big congratulations to you as well. You're in Tanzania. Could you tell us a bit about the project that you're about to launch with this funding, the bridging program?
Thank you very much. I would like to congratulate my fellow grantees who have passed. It's a good step, great work ahead of you. So the bridging program, it's about training the healthcare interns. In Tanzania, the AMR is not part of our curriculum in Tanzania. So majority of the healthcare providers that are enrolled in the pharmaceutical industry, in the hospitals, and also the community pharmacies are not well trained or equipped regarding AMR. So they roll into their careers with this gap in terms of knowledge. So with different researches that have been conducted in situational analysis in Tanzania, majority of these healthcare providers are not well equipped in dispensing or prescribing these antibiotics as one of the studies recommended. So to overcome this gap, the RB Initiative Breeding Program will equip 100 healthcare interns. This will be a hybrid project whereby the healthcare interns will be trained regarding AMR, whereby the WHO guiding book will provide a guide for the training, where lessons such as AMR and One Health approach, diagnostic stewardship, a few to mention, will be part of the training. However, after the training that will be completed, these healthcare interns will be capacitated to do the outreach programs. So they'll be performing educational programs. These educational programs will be co-designed together with the RD initiative team, where some of them will be visiting the hospitals that will not be part of the training, but they'll also reach the school children and other strategic areas. In the response to this, we also work in the umbrella of One Health approach, whereby the healthcare interns that will be recruited will not only be pharmacists, who will be responsible for dispensing, or doctors for prescribing. So it will be a mixture. We'll be having also nurses, we'll also be having lab technicians and so on. So as I mentioned, that adopting and tailoring the WHO Calibre Guide will be part of this training, but to ensure the sustainability of the trained healthcare interns will form a network of AMR champions. The AMR champions will be trained according to this bridging program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is a good example of train the trainer program, and it will be really interesting to see how the effect is going to be trackable afterwards, to see how many people you can actually touch. But I love the fact that it's helping to bring these interns into practice quickly. So looking forward to the progress here as well. Thank you. And then our final grantee today is Edwin. Edwin Luguku in Tanzania as well. Hi. Nice to meet you and congratulations. You have a fun project that you have presented to us. Can you talk a bit about the community that you're building? And your sound is off, so if you turn on the mic. Let's see if we can hear you. I still don't hear you. It looks like you're unmuted, but maybe the sound on the computer, or if you take the headset off, it might work sometimes to use the computer sound. Yeah, I hear you. Absolutely. Fantastic.
Okay. Hi, so I am Edwin Luguku, as I've been introduced, based in Tanzania, and I'm working with a project called Afayatoon. So we are implementing a project for journalists. I am basically a medical doctor, and we brought up this term from the COVID-19 time, frontliners, where we would be the first persons to see patients and take care for them. But for the case of AMR communication in our community, it is the journalists that are the frontliners. These are the people with the platform. These are the people with the means to communicate and to reach to the grassroots. So we came up with a project for journalists where we are going to do it in 5 stages. The first is a human-centered design and research, where we are trying to understand what is known by the journalists, what is not known. How are the curriculums right now in the schooling, and how do they operate soon after having graduated from school? And then we'll initiate a nurturing program, which would first involve course material production around AMR and around how to develop AMR-based stories. So the first parts of this project will involve online platform, which will allow journalists, students to be able to learn from the online platform. Then we move into the workshops and hackathons, where we having it as a practical content production space, where people would meet one-on-one with the medical professionals and the experienced journalists, from where they will also produce content. And luckily enough, we have been working in developing an animation studio where it has a lot of resources in terms of illustrators, animators, and we will augment journalist content so that they are captivating and engaging to their community. The next stage will be disseminating this content in partnership with the journalists. And at this juncture, we have been able to partner with the Tanzania Media Foundation, which has a rich supply of journalists across the country, where we will get to the grassroots and get to the community and put up this information on AMR. And lastly but not least is sustainability, where we want to be able to do this on a yearly basis. So the content that we'll be producing through this grant will be available next year for journalists that will be enrolling in school and journalists that will be graduating in that way. And we are thus going to create a community of AMR frontliners that are well informed on what AMR is and how to report around.
Thank you so much. Exciting because it's a different audience that you are educating as well, and an important one who will get the messages out to the broader general public. So big congratulations to you as well.
Thank you very much.
Now I'll ask you to mute because we enjoy your coffee. So these are the 8 grantees that have been awarded funding this year. Again, I'd like to extend a big congratulations to the 8 of you. We will continue to track and follow the work that you do, and to the community around the PAR Foundation. We will, in the fall, continue to do seminars and talk about the different projects that and the progress in the research and the education that we have now heard. So with that, thanks for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to introduce the grantees to you, and hope to hear a lot about these different programs in the year and years to come. Have a fantastic rest of the day, and thank you for joining. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.